A routine overnight check of businesses conducted by the Chadron Police Department results in the seizure of heroin, methamphetamine, and marijuana. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, early Wednesday morning, a Chadron officer noticed a suspicious vehicle parked in the alleyway of the 200 block of Main Street. The officer detected the strong odor of raw marijuana emitting from the vehicle and made contact with the driver, 33-year-old Alan Powley of Rogue River, Oregon. A search of the vehicle resulted in the seizure of more than 10 pounds of marijuana, including THC wax and hash. Also located during the search was approximately a gram of suspected heroin, residue amounts of methamphetamine, and several items of drug paraphernalia, including digital scales and plastic baggies. Powley was arrested and was charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of marijuana more than 1 pound, possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamine, possession of oxycodone, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Well, the oversight of the Gering City Library is transitioning to a veteran of the facility. At this week's Gering City Council meeting, City Administrator Pat Heath introduced Christy Clark as the new director, taking over for the retiring Diane Downer. Heath detailed Clark's experience for the council, which included time as a teacher in South Carolina before joining the Gering Library staff nearly 12 years ago.
She's worked for the City of Gering as a library assistant, public service librarian, and most currently the youth services librarian. Christy has a BA in elementary education from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and a Master of Library Science degree from Emporia State University, and she also holds the Nebraska Public Librarian certification.
Clark assumes the post this week, with Downer celebrating her retirement yesterday afternoon. We'll have more news right after this.
The journey of a dream becoming reality. When we're young, a dream develops into a passion. That passion continues to manifest and grows as you do. It becomes all you want to do and all you want to be. It gives you direction. It drives you. Then, your dream has become a reality. When that dream is ready to be reality, Platte Valley Bank will be with you every step of the way.
One of my big responsibilities is making Runza Rand. I put all of my love into making Rand because it is the best by far. What are you doing if you don't get Rand?
Back. It's a changing of the guard at the United Way of Western Nebraska as Executive Director Steph Black and Administrative Assistant Deb Geis were honored for their years of service during their retirement party Thursday at the Bluffs Business Center. Black, who had led the United Way for the past 11 years, said it has truly been an honor to serve the community.
I want to thank the community. We are blessed to live in such a giving community. United Way cannot do what we do without each and every one of the community members. We've built some great partnerships, and we have a lot of great volunteers, a lot of supporters, a lot of donors, and that's really what makes our work beneficial to, have a big impact in our community.
Black says she looks forward to spending more time with family and traveling the country during her retirement, but adds she'll still be out volunteering as she plans to stay local as well. Karen Benzel, who previously headed United Way serving Box Butte and Dawes counties, has been tapped to take over Black's position. Well, the Nebraska Farm Bureau Foundation visited western Nebraska last week in celebration of National Agriculture Week. The group held a press conference in Scottsbluff where industry and sugar beets were highlighted. Mark McCarg, the president of the Nebraska Farm Bureau and its foundation, says Nebraska's diversity in agriculture is an economic driver.
We know that agriculture in Nebraska is very diverse, and we're out here in Scottsbluff today because the area out here, the farming and ranching in Scottsbluff is very different than in my part of the central Nebraska. It's very unique, but has a very unique economic impact as well. So in Nebraska, agriculture contributes $21 billion to the Nebraska economy. Cities like Gering and Scottsbluff, I would say that, you know, if there wasn't agriculture out here, that the cities, towns would not exist. And it's really important to understand that as ag producers do well, the economy does well. And some of those things in the economy that does well is even our school systems.
Western Sugar Cooperative is also working on sustainable practices as all parts of sugar beets are used, reused, and help replenish soil. And Nebraska lawmakers have given initial approval to a large, multi-pronged tax package despite concerns that it would send the biggest benefits to high-income earners. The bill would cut the top personal and corporate income tax rates, create a new tax credit for property owners, and accelerate the phase-out of a Social Security income tax that lawmakers approved last year. It advanced 44-0 through the first of 3 required votes on Wednesday, although some lawmakers said they would push for more changes. Supporters say the measure would make Nebraska more attractive to seniors and businesses and competitive with its neighboring states. Well, coming up after the break, Bill Boyer says we're in store for a pleasant Saturday. He's got your weekend weather forecast right after this on KNEB.TV News.
It's been said many times that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Have you been making plans to invest in new windows? Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows. It's that simple. And right now, Renewal by Andersen has an incredible financing offer. No money down, no interest, no payments for 1 full year, no payments for a year. Book your free estimate right now at rbawyoming.com. And remember, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
Doubles every 2 minutes. How long?
Hey, Dad. We're going for a run.
Okay. You're gonna go together?
That's what we means.
Okay. Well, just be careful. Make sure you're not running alone. Stay on the sidewalk. Watch for cars. Don't talk to strangers.
Another virus was blocked? What are you doing?
Are you listening to me? All right? Because when it comes to safety, nobody knows safety better than me. Be careful out there.
Are you doing an online quiz?
Yeah. This one's gonna tell me my IQ, which I've always wanted to know, because it's a mystery.
I'm guessing it's very low because all these quizzes are for is to get your passwords for everything.
Oh, is that right?
How do you not know that?
How do you know that?
How long have you been doing these quizzes for?
How old are you?
11?
11 years.
How do you not know how old I am?
Because that's a long time, 11 years, to remember stuff.
All right, well, we're gonna go for a run and watch for cars and strangers, and you change all your passwords so your identity isn't wiped out.
Bit dramatic.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
We're going to see some clouds around the area here early this evening into the early nighttime hours, but then they're going to clear out and we're going to be left with clear skies as we start our day tomorrow and sunshine returns. In fact, tomorrow is going to be a nicer day than what we had today. Less clouds for sure and warmer. It's going to turn windy again, I think, on Sunday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Things look chilly, and we are going to see some wind as well. Yesterday's high was actually 62 degrees. Don't have official measurements in there. We're still, right now, basically about where we should be for the year. We've lost all of our surplus there as we wrapped up the month of March. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s across all of the region. Here closer to home, 45 Mullen, 46 in Valentine. It's 50 degrees in Cheyenne and 48 in Alliance. Winds are out of the northwest, anywhere from, let's call them 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusting at times 20 to 30 out there. So not too terrible in the wind department, and those are going to continue to go down as we go through the nighttime hours. Futurecast tonight has any clouds this evening giving way to stars overnight, and we're going to have a clear start to the day tomorrow. And that's going to allow temps to fall a little bit down into the 20s again, so another chilly night overnight. But that sun's going to help tomorrow rebound temperatures quite nicely, as we're going to see a great deal of sunshine tomorrow. Don't see much going on till mid-afternoon. We start to throw just a few clouds in here. That's about it. But we're setting the stage for a windier day and maybe even a few showers around as we go into Sunday again, along with another passing system. Highs tomorrow going to be in the 60s all across the region. A beautiful day to start your weekend. Not much coming in the way of precip, certainly rain or snow over the next 36 hours or so. Forecast for tonight then, partly cloudy, lows down around 26. For tomorrow, just a really nice day. Highs in the upper 60s, winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. That should do it for us. And then as we take a look at our 7-day forecast, things get windy again on Sunday. Monday, another mild day back to near 70. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those 3 days all look windy and colder with temps back into the 50s. But look at next Friday as we rebound into the 70s.
Are you looking for the perfect place to hold a wedding, family reunion, holiday office party, or business meeting? Well, look no further. The Hampton Inn and Suites Hotel and Conference Center is just the place for you. We're a full-service banquet facility that can host up to 400 of your guests. Stop in and see our spacious open-concept meeting rooms and begin planning your special event or family gathering today. Let us do the work for you so you can enjoy your guests. For personal service, stop by the Hampton Inn and Suites front desk.
This is John. He's not an actor or a director. Can you tell? He calls himself a steward of the land. And by the looks of the way he nurtures his little corner of the earth, it's safe to say he's the real deal. John runs with us on a John Deere 3 Series tractor because you can never underestimate the value of a little tractor time. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Visit 21st Century Equipment in Alliance, Torrington, Scottsbluff, and Bridgeport, or visit 21stcenturyequipment.com.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Welcome to this week's Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield here on the Rural Radio Network. Another interesting week. The South caved. They went for steady money, but how does that affect our producers in the North when it comes to the sale of cattle? We're going to look at a talk of First Notice Day. Of course, we've got higher box beef prices. How long can this happen? The big drop that was seen in the open interest, the global uncertainties, so many factors affecting the way these cattle are trading today. And not to mention, it's spring, though it might not feel like it this week. We know that folks are starting to think more about doing some grilling. We're going to take a look at this and a whole lot more today with Brad Koima. As you can see, he is on the screen with me from Koima and Varlick out of Sioux Center, Iowa. So let's talk about this cash. Should it come as a surprise that the South has caved a little early this week?
Well said, Susan, actually. I think that's pretty much says it. I'm disappointed. I thought that with these improving packer margins, strength in the meat, ability to kill big, that maybe they would, and the basis too. I mean, we come in this morning with April cattle on top of 141. I thought they'd maybe hold for a little more. So I was disappointed too. I don't know. The trade I think is maybe significant enough that that's going to be it. I don't think it was an overwhelmingly large change at 138, but I was really hoping that they would be just a little more arch in their back. I had thought that the North was going to trade cattle at 141 to 142, and the South maybe closer to 140. Now that online auction that they have, most all those asking prices down there were 140, and they got passed. So at least there's some of them that are showing some resolve down there. But I think that contributed in a large way why the April cattle were so soft today. I mean, 70 lower, I guess, isn't the end of the world, 72 lower. But, with the 138 cash and with first notice day coming around the corner here, options go out Friday, and we can start delivering on Monday. I suppose there's a little worry that that same culprit down there in Friona might, think it was worth delivering a few loads of cattle. So the long scamper out of the way then. I'm really not ready to give up. I'm really not that bearish. I still believe the next 30 to 45 days have extremely tight numbers in the north, Susan, particularly in my area. We've pulled the yearlings ahead because of the good weather. The calves aren't fat yet. And you mentioned the strength in the beef. That's going to keep up. In fact, I think there's a significant up in the beef coming between now and Father's Day, but especially in the next 30 to 45 days. So I really think if we could just have a little more resolve here at the feedlot level, that we could move this cash market a little bit higher.
Is the North, though, are you going to see them kind of try to hold on this week for hopes of getting to see some higher bids?
Well, I know what the show lists are here, and they're so small that, the sentiment I'm getting from the producers here is like, if I can't get 142, I'll wait till next week. And it's nice when you're that current, and nice when you have a bit of, you don't have to just cave so easily. So, I think we'll either have a very light trade, or we'll get the cash market to come by Friday, and then we'll have a little deeper trade.
Box beef, you did talk about them being a little bit higher this week, kind of setting the tone. Is this a trend we're going to see, hopefully, for the next couple weeks?
Yes, and one of the most reliable trends there is, Susan, as you start moving toward better weather and toward Mother's Day, toward grill out, cook, all that stuff. Yes, I think I can say with a very high level of confidence that I would expect boxes to move higher. I think we can actually get boxes almost back to the 300 level, and it's at about 265 or 6 right now. The one thing, I can't think of much positive to say about COVID at all. But the one thing that we saw changed in the demand sector after COVID was, I think we found out, we trained a consumer, the consumer learned, let me put it a little more subtly, that they can cook a steak at home, and it's pretty good. In fact, it's real good. And they could probably do that twice for going out to eat once. So as we move that demand out of that HR trade into a little more of the traditional, domestic retail, whatever you want to call it, consumption, I'm anxious to see when we get back to warmer weather, whether you're not going to see even a bigger boost in the middle meats than what we might have expected.
So having said that, what are we going to see meat counter wise as folks watch the increase in their food costs and everything? What is the meat counter going to have to do to fight for that money?
Yeah, and their gas bill and all the rest, right?
Right.
I mean, it's a very real deal, and it seems like elastic demand for beef, especially the steak type cut, has always been part of our deal as long as I've been in this business, and I suppose that'll continue. Now, having said that, though, like when I read the retail ads, and I do that every week, across the 11 big cities, for the most part, you can buy a ribeye almost everywhere for under $10 a pound. I think it'll move there. I think the thing we got to kind of dial down on, and let's watch this hamburger thing. There's some places where this hamburger is just horrendously high priced, and unfairly so, especially with the kind of cow kill we've had. I hope they get that in line, get that price back into what seems to me to at least to be more fair. But $6-7 hamburger just to me is out of line. If you're paying that, go find one of your local farmers, see what they'll sell you the hamburger for. I think you'll find out it's a lot more competitive than what you're doing in a retail store. But I do believe that, generally speaking, demand is still extremely good, both domestically and globally. So I don't want to be misunderstood there. But and what they had that stuff priced at during the height of COVID was wrong. And at least we're getting back into a more in line situation there, Susan.
All right, sounds good. Look forward to catching up with you next week.
Sounds good to me too. Sorry about last week.
Hey, things happen. Hey, that has been this week's Cattle Calls. We always want to remind folks commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss and aren't suitable to all investors. And that's been the Cattle Call next week from the Nebraska State FFA Convention. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network.
When you call Gearing Valley Plumbing and Heating, you will have options. Repair it, rebuild it, or update it. Whether your furnace stops working or your bathtub won't drain, Gearing Valley Plumbing and Heating provides the services you need to be comfortable. Weekends, holidays, or late nights, we will be there. With over 30 years of service, our certified technicians and cutting-edge technology can keep your systems running at their peak efficiency. Gearing Valley Plumbing and Heating, every time we enter your home, we leave it a better place to live.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
What a year 2020 was. Now's the time to get out and travel this summer to see family and friends you were not able to see this last year. Spend more time enjoying your trip by flying United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with daily flights to and from Denver. Reserve your flight today and remember United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. And don't forget, Thrifty Car Rental is here for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and hitch a ride with your BFF, Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Swipe right, swipe left, endlessly searching. Finding the perfect match isn't always perfect, but it can be when it comes to finances. Nora found the perfect business loan. Jenny opened her first savings account. Grammy loves her checking account. We found a match for Wilson Farms. The Sandersons were matched with a mortgage. Regardless of your financial situation, Platte Valley Bank will match you with the perfect solution. Find your match at Platte Valley Bank.
And finally tonight, students in Gering, Scottsbluff, and Mitchell had a rare treat this week as former Husker and NFL player Des Moines Adams made appearances to promote the work of the Teammates program. Adams has been the CEO of the organization for about 6 months now and says he sees the program as a valuable tool to help youth more fully realize their potential. He tells KNB News Teammates is a strength-based program that supports kids and improves their well-being, something especially needed coming out of the pandemic.
Emotional intelligence has gone down because of the pandemic. But now when students have that additional caring adult to have a conversation with about how they're feeling and having someone who cares more about how they're doing, how to critical think, how to solve a problem, how to manage their emotions, it really makes a huge difference when they go back into the classroom, when they go home to their family.
Scottsbluff County Teammates Coordinator Mary Kay Hahn says there have been 65 matches so far in the county, but more adult mentors are needed for the program, and they would like to be able to expand to additional schools in the county. To learn more about the program or to volunteer, you can go online to teammates.org. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you back here on Monday.